Hello and welcome to Scalemodeling, and welcome to part 7 of our Honda Gorilla 1/6 scale build. And if this is your first time here, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the notifications button so you get notified of the videos that come out. And you can go back to the playlist and watch this right from the beginning, part 1. And also please comment and give us a thumbs up at the end. And let's get on to where we just left off. So when we left on the last video, we got this front end on the bike and all fitted perfectly. And now we're doing the handlebars. The handlebars I had to spray with a chrome because only half of them were chrome and the other half was still alloy on the sprue. So here's what they've come up like. Look at that. Perfect. Now I did decide to spray these with the levers on, your brake and clutch lever, because I wanted them chrome anyway. And there are a couple little little black spots in there. There's a pin that I'll do black and another little bit that I'll do black to finish those off. Otherwise these are ready to go on. There's these parts here, which are the tops of those, and they will go on there. So I'll put those on, and of course we've got the grips done in the rubber black, all set to go. And that finishes the top part of step 19. And the lower part of step 19, I'll put that up in the corner to have a look there, is after we put these on, we've got to put the mirrors on. The mirrors come in a few parts, and there's got to be a bit of painting there going on, but we'll get to that. So for the moment, I'll just connect these on and yeah, see how they look. All right, be back in a sec. Okay, so there you go. So I've just did the little black boots on the levers there. Not really well. I've got those brackets on the top of there done, and we've put the hand grips on. So it's looking pretty good. All we got to do now is get the mirrors on, which I'll go take the parts off the sprue and we'll get those on. I'll be back in a sec. Okay, back with those little pieces put on the top of the bars there. Those hand grips, I've just slid them on. I'm just going to leave, I'm not going to glue them on there tight, but they look good. I've done a little bit of touch up black in there for the, like they're like a rubber boot around there, just for where the cables stretch. So that's all done. They're ready to glue on. But first I wanted to get the mirrors mounted on there so that I can position everything just right. Yeah, I'm not sure. We'll see. But I've got these sprayed, so they're done. Got them in the gloss black. Come up really nice. There we go. And I'm just about to pop the glass in. We'll just take these off. Just like that. I glue these, in case you don't know, I just get the toothpicks and I glue them in and use them as handles to hold. So this is going to go on there like that, pretty much simple, like that. They need a bit of cleaning. That's that one off. That one will go pretty much like that. So I'll glue them on, and then here's our actual thing. As I've test fitted them, they connect onto that, they hold onto there fine. They just slot in here, and you can angle them how you want. They're not actually permanently fixed, which is really handy. Okay, I've got to trim some plastic off these, but all right, these are good to go. So I'll glue these on, polish them up, excuse me, and we're back in a sec. Okay, there we go. Mirrors are on. How's that looking? Look at that. They're real nice mirrors on there too, eh? Clean them up a little bit, but I've since sort of smudged them again, but no problem. Yeah, handlebars on. All good. Doesn't say to connect up any of these cables yet, so we won't do that, but yeah, there it is. So that finishes step 19. Now let's get on to step 20. I'll move this out of the way and we'll have a look at what we've got to do there. We'll be back in a sec. Okay, so these are the parts we need for step 20. This is part of the rack. This is the underside of the rear luggage rack on the back of the bike. Okay. Now, it's a little bit tricky to work out the instructions, but pretty much you've got this piece. You've got to imagine you're working on this upside down, all right? This part will go under there and in there, and there's a little notch where it'll sit in and sit under like that. Okay, they need to be placed in first. There's one on each side before you put this piece on the top. Okay, you're going to go there. Right, something like that anyway. Okay, now all the connection points for the glue need to be scraped so that they're all going to connect properly and not fall apart. And you've got this piece, particularly this piece, sits flat against there. It's going to sit on there like that, which is, I'm guessing that's where the registration will sit on there. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll scrape these parts and I'll glue them on. And the last part will be this getting glued on top of there. And that's it. And then I think in the next part 21, we turn it over the other way and we put some more rack parts on top. I was looking at this, seeing all the underside of this that's not chrome, but that's the underside of the rack. So you won't see that once it's up the right way. So it should be all right. Okay, so I'll put these together and then we can come back and move on to the next step. Okay, back in a sec. Okay, welcome back again. So there it is. I've put those parts together. They went on okay, a little bit fiddly, but went on all right. So that's the bottom. So that's how it's going to sit on top like that. So with a position like that, we finish step 20 and move on to step 21, which is putting the license plate on and the tail light, the red tail light. So the red tail light, we got that off sprue earlier. There it is there. I've just got to trim that piece off. So that's going to go on there. There's a little plastic piece that goes in there first. And then we put the plate on, which is here. And it looks like we've got a choice. So you can have the Japanese license plate with the Japanese writing. Just see that there. And the 50 on there. Or you could put this on and put a decal on there which says Gorilla. Just trying to find where that is. I think it's going to be one of those. Actually, decal number 3 is the white one there. I'm going to go with the Gorilla. I'm going to put that on there and see how that looks. If I want to change my mind, you can. The idea is you could put the other plate that goes on top of that. So I think it does. Well, no, it doesn't. You got one or the other. But I'm happy to put just Gorilla on there. That'll be fine. Yeah, that's about it. There's a couple of little the screws in there which need to be painted chrome silver, which is what the plate already is anyway. I'll see what happens. It depends how much area the decal takes up as well. But anyhow, also in step 21, which you'll see up in the corner, we've got those other the rear blinkers to go on, and the rack which sits on top. Which sits on top of here as well. So I'll get all these parts ready, and we'll come back before we put the rack and the rear blinkers on. We'll just get this plate on and the tail light. All right, I'll be back in a sec. Now I thought I'd just come back and show you here. This is the plate registration or number plate. And it's unfortunately where it's come off the sprue on each end here, you can't avoid but to see the marks there, which have taken the aluminium off. And unfortunately from the side view of the bike, you'll be able to see that quite clearly. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to paint this in aluminium. Yeah, I'll have to paint it because I can't have that like that. And I also think with the painted surface as well, the decal will probably stick better than straight onto the bare plastic here. So just thought I'd let you know I'm going to do that. The tail light, I've stuck that on, it's drying. I used my MIG ammo glue for that. That's the clear canopy. Oh, got the wrong thing. Sorry, the camera. That's my, there it is there. That's the photo etch and clear parts glue that I've showed you throughout the build. Great stuff. So that will dry clear, and that'll be the tail light. So I'll go and paint this now, and then it'll take a bit of time to dry before I can put the decal on there. But in the meantime, we can go and put the rest of the rack on, and the left and right indicators as well. All right, so I'll be back in a sec. Okay, so got those undercoated, waiting on parts to dry. Not much more we can do with part 21 until we've got those parts dried, and then we can put the decals on and put the not license plate on here. So that's that. So I thought, well, let's move on to 22. 22 is the fuel tank and the seat. Put it up in the corner, you can have a look. So we'll start with the fuel tank, I guess. We've got to put the cap on the top, and there's a part that goes underneath inside the tank that'll, looks like that'll hold it down onto the frame of the bike. Also, they've even gone to the detail of putting an on-off valve to the fuel line underneath. That's a nice touch. So I'll get the parts we need for this, and then we'll bring our tank out and get these on. I'll also jump ahead as well to, well, actually, this is the same step. So after you put all this together, they show the decals. So if we're going to put the tank together, we may as well put the decals on and the emblem on the side as well. So that'll be completely finished and ready to go on the bike. So yeah, all right. I'll be back in a second for some parts. Okay, so we're back. Here's our tank. I've got my glove on because I don't want to get fingerprints on it. Here's the part that goes on the inside of it. And there's a pin that goes in there. So this will sit pretty much just in there like that. All right, and just press down. I've already tested it, it fits perfectly. But what I've got to do is I've just got to sand off the edges of the chrome plating on here just to give a surface for it to stick in here. And then and what I'll do is I'll just use some extra thin. I'll let that seep in there because it fits in pretty tight. Here's our little fuel valve, which will fit in here like this. It's keyed so it only goes in one way. Might be easier to show you this way. Yeah, so that's going to go in there like that. There's our little tap. You can see the tiny little lever. That's going to sit in there. I might paint that black just to show a bit of contrast. I don't know how much of that you'll see, but yeah, might paint that black. And then we've got the fuel cap, which will go on top, pretty much like that. And then there's a decal to go on there, which I haven't got yet. But for the right now, I'm just going to go and fit this inside the underside of the tank. I might put that on as well. Just go take a bit of paint off there again, so the surface is for it to glue on. And we'll come back when I'm up to doing the decal. Yeah. Okay, back in a sec. Okay, so I thought I'd just show you here. I've just clipped that in. It's a nice snug fit, no problem at all. I'm just going to use some extra thin Icky Sticky cement. Just carefully, just let that go around the outside there, and that'll be it. That'll be in. So we'll just use a very small amount. I'll let that capillary effect. That's all it takes, is just to go a little bit like that. Just run it through like that. Need just there, there, and in there. That's it. that looks good to me. Add a bit more in there. There we go. We'll just let that dry for a moment. Or actually, let's pop in the little tap here. Can't get that wrong. That's just going to sit straight in there. Like that. That's good. Again. That's all it takes. Very nice. I've decided I will leave that the aluminium it is. I won't bother with that. But yeah, we'll put our tap on in the open position, I guess, which is straight up and down, like it says in the instructions. Yeah, I'll just tap that in there. Tiniest bit of glue. I'm just trying to figure out how best to go about that. We'll just use a bit of CA, might be easier. This. Yeah. Mainly because I just have to, I can just tap it in. You'll see what I mean. If I just put a little bit in there like that, that's all just a dot. Then use the tweezers to pick it up. Okay. We just put that there. That's it. Done. All right. Okay. Now I'll get the decal. We'll put this on as well. I'll just get that cleaned up. I have to scrape the bit underneath it. And we'll get our decal ready. Be back in a sec. Okay, welcome back. So I've just popped the decal on there. Sitting down on there quite nice. So done. We've got the fuel cap on. We've got this underneath with our little fuel tap. Just sitting in there. And now I'm just looking at the sides of the tank. So there's the emblems go on the sides. There they are there. The tricky part is there's no location point for them. So getting them in, exact right position on both sides is going to be a little bit of a tricky thing to do, but we should be able to line them up and get one on each side. They are curved for the tank by the looks of it, so it looks like they're going to fit all right. I'll get them off the sprue, get them trimmed up, and then we'll have a look and see how well they're going to go on. I'll be back in a second. Okay, back again. So there's our license plate done. Some Gorilla decal on there. On there, nice. Put that there. Here's our tank decal. There's our little emblems on the side. I'm just leaving them chrome. I might put a bit of panel line wash in there just to bring up the Honda name a little bit darker, but that'll be it. So that's done. We've got our fuel tap on the bottom finished. The next thing is the seat. Now, the seat has a bracket that goes underneath it. G19, let me just grab that. First I'll get the seat out and we'll have a look. There's our seat. We don't need that, move that out of the way. There we go. Move this back in. So there's our seat. It's nicely textured and everything, but I have decided I'm going to paint it anyway. Not 100% sure what way I'm going to paint it. Yeah, I don't know if I want it shiny, do it a gloss black. It's also going to have some chrome pins go in there as part of the detail. That'll look really nice. And there'll be a Honda decal going on the back. But we've got to do the inside plate, which is G19. And I'll just find where that is. There it is. Right, so there's that plate, big plate there. That's going to go, the seat's going to mount onto this, and then we've got to attach some brackets. As you can see up there, step 22 I put up. Yeah, there's a few brackets to go underneath it. So that's probably what I'll work on first. Yeah, okay. I'll get these parts off. There's all our brackets there, and get them on, and we'll see how it looks, and I'll decide exactly what we're going to do about painting that. Be back in a sec. Okay, so there's our little supports there. They're not glued in yet. I've just got them in position because they're all numbered accurately. So they're ready to glue in. And now we just need the seat. Decide I'm going to do this a gloss black, make it nice and shiny. Yeah, I think it'll look good. Everything else is shiny, you know, so I think it'll look fine. So I'm going to go paint that before I put that on, and then so we'll have to yeah, I'll prime it, do the usual, and hit it with the gloss black. Yeah, I've got to remember to put the decal on the back too. While that's drying, I'll get these little bolts that come off and go on here, the studs, I guess they'd be called. Yeah, and they are actually all chrome. Saw them here somewhere. Let me have a look. There they are. They all are there. Perfect. All right. Again, I'm waiting on that rack to dry. I've hit it with the chrome paint. It looks really good. I'll give it another half hour or so, and then I can attach it onto this, and that'll be done. And then we're getting close to step 22 being finished, where we get over to the last step, which is putting these on the bike and then attaching up some of the fuel and brake lines, and getting them all done. There's also this other piece here, which is in the next step, but I may as well get it done as well. So we have a decal, a little gorilla decal to go on that as well. So I think I should get that. I should get that done after I put all my stuff away for the decals. That'd be right. And it will be one of these. I'm probably going to go with the silver one, the chrome looking one. So it's going to match everything else. Yeah. And the Honda will be the white Honda for the back seat, for the back of the seat. Yeah. Well, good. Those were an option for the sides of the tank if you wanted to do it a different way. I've noticed too, it did have the marks in there for putting those emblems on, so you wouldn't have messed up the decal, so that would have been all right. But I like to show off that beautiful rum raisin on the tank, so I didn't want to put the silver decals over it. Okay, I shall return back shortly. Hey there, back again. Just doing a bit of test fitting. The rack here, very tight fit. In fact, I had to cut the two little nubs off that connect into the back there because it was just putting too much pressure on when I pulled these apart. But when I glue them in place, they'll be fine, and that'll lock in place there. I wanted to do that before I put the rack on top. It would just be easy to handle. Here's the rack finished, all chromed up, so it looks really good. And once I connect this on, I'll be able to sit the rack on the top there. This I've already checked and it fits fine. These parts, the little struts underneath, I've glued them. I also test fitted those as well. So these parts here just sit on top of the shock absorbers in there, so they're quite okay. And then there's two more connecting points in the frame where these will sit, and it will, so that's good. Remembering that this is connected up under the seat, which I've just primed. So that will go on. The tank I haven't tried to fit yet, but I'm sure it will. Fingers crossed. Yeah, but there's a little bolt to go in the bottom of there too, which I think goes into there. If I'm right, yeah, that holds the tank down. There's also the hose for the fuel line under the tank to be connected. This is all looking at the last step 23 at the moment, because I need to sort of see where that's going before we can just confirm that 21's done. Now what I'll do is I'll glue the rack on the top of here now, the chrome rack, and that crosses off step 21 as complete. And then we turn the page and that's where we'll be at step 23 there. All right, so yes, I'm just going to glue this on now and then put the rack on top. I'll be back in a sec. Okay, so there's our rack on. No problems. Lined up really nicely, so that's all fine. I've taken the little studs off that go around the seat. So those you've got to be a little bit careful of not to lose. They'll be fine. The number plate, license plate, depending where you are, what you call it. There it is on the back. Cooler. Yeah. All good. Now I'm just waiting for that seat to dry, pretty much. And it does look like we're going to finish it in this video. So hang out, stick through till the end there, because it looks like we're going to have this done. I am going to cut off some more tubing because we've still got the speedometer cable to connect. And what's the other one? Another cable. There's two to come off there. 85. The 90mm one is for the meter. And I can't see what the 85mm one is for. Yeah, I'll figure it out. Serrated cables. I don't know, if there's one missing, that's what it'll be. Yeah. Okay. I'll be back again in a sec. Okay, so I'm just looking at step 23 and realised there's no reason why I can't put the tank on. So I did. The front just slips in and there's a little notch it goes under. It's quite easy. No need to glue. That little plastic piece I just got off, which was the H2, is a little pin. That's this one here, and it just simply goes in there like that, and that I'll glue in, and that will hold the tank on. Simple. Okay, and it's looking good, eh? There you go. Now there's a fuel line coming off the carburetor that goes up onto our little fuel connector switch under there. So I'll be connecting that onto there. That'll be fine. And then and I'm still waiting on the seat to finish to dry so I can put the gloss coat on it. So that's the only thing that's holding me up at the moment. When I've done that, the primed coat, I've got black primer over it. I will go and test fit, make sure I'm not going to have a problem with these studs and that they're all going to go in nice and easily. Once I'm sure of that, then I'll give it the gloss coat. That's about it I can show you at the moment. I'll probably connect up the lines here. This is for our clutch and brake. They can go on, and we've got it. I still have to cut off the 90mm line for the speedometer cable. That 85mm one, I don't see that. Oh, there it is. I just saw it. It's a brake cord. So there's a brake cord that comes off this lever and runs down. So yeah, we'll figure that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm thinking the brake cord's going to go down to the back there. We shall see. All right, I will plod on and continue back in a sec. Okay, so I've got the seat that's just primed in black. You'll see the difference when I come back with it next. It'll all be done in gloss black. I've checked all these pins. I did have to open these up a little bit on both inside and outside just so that they pop in a lot easier. And they'll be fine now. I'm glad I did that before I put the final coat on just to avoid any scratches or marks where I don't want them. This has also been test fitted, pops in there, no problem. There's just two big pins in there where those go, no problem at all. They make a good attachment point for holding it while I go spray it, which I'll do right now. Okay, I'll be back in a sec. Hey, we're back again. I just wanted to show you this seat. I've done it in the black, gloss black. I think it looks quite good. And on that side, I've put all the studs in. I've just glued them, so I'm going to leave them for a bit to dry. And then I'll go along and do the other side. I'll put the other side in. We've got our decal ready for the back of the seat. And all this is all ready to go up in there as well. So getting very, very close to the finishing point. Okay, so I'll come back when these are in, and yeah, we'll continue on. Back in a sec. Okay, welcome back. So there's all the studs in each side. Nice little touch, looks good. And it's ready for this to go in, which I'm just going to slide that in like this and then press it down like that. Okay. And I think that's it pretty much. Yeah. That's it there. I'll put a little bit of glue around the outside there, and that's good to go. Now there is the decal to go on. There's the decal there, little Honda one. A bit of glare, so you probably can't read it, but it's a white decal, and that just needs to go on the back there, which I shall do now, and then we'll put this on the bike. Okay, be back in a sec. Okay, so the seat is on. Again, fit no problem. I put this little piece on the side here. Just push straight in, done. And yeah, that is it actually. We've finished step 23 of the instructions. It's complete. But what I want to do is I want to do a bit of detailing on the engine. So I want to grease it up a little bit. I'm going to go in there with some panel line wash and just get it bit of detail in there, because it's looking a bit too clean, a bit too shiny. So I'll fix that up, and yeah, just get that. And then when we come back, I'll get a different camera view. I'll get the camera down here and we can have a look at it from the side. And obviously I'm going to take a few photographs, and yeah, we'll have a chat about how the build went. All right, so like I said, just panel line wash is all I'm going to use around the cylinder head on the engine, and maybe a little bit around the back of the chain, just to bring out a bit of detail. All right, I'll be back in a sec. Hello and welcome back to the completion of our Honda Gorilla 1.6 scale Tamiya model. So there it is, looking fantastic. I'll put some photos I've got up in the corner there. I've just been getting some nice photos for some social media sites, and yeah, there it is. Fantastic, hey. I'm so happy with the way this has turned out. I did do a bit of pin washing, not pin wash, but panel line washing on the motor. So I got a little bit of, detail down there so it doesn't look so shiny and clean. You'll see those in some of the photos. But but otherwise it's come up really amazing. The Outlaw Paints, what can I say? It's just no words for it, is it? I mean, until you try it, you don't know how good these paints are. That rum raisin pearl on there, just beautiful. And going along with their 2K diamond clear, just a whole new experience for me. Just amazing. Yeah. The kit itself went together really well. There's quite a few parts left over. Some parts that aren't mentioned. So I know there's 2 versions of this to build, which I thought were just color, but there seems to be a different rack style in there as well with some other parts, but there's nothing in the instructions about using those. A few other bits and pieces in there that I don't even know what they are, but anyway, it's come up all really, really nice. No problems at all that I can remember. Yeah, fantastic. The seat I did end up painting and covered in a gloss, which I'm glad I did. And the decals, a few decals there, they all went on really well. Yeah, just really happy. It just looks fantastic. So thank you everybody for following along. Please watch me on Fridays for my live stream. It's getting quite popular now. A lot of you guys, it's great to be able to have a one-on-one contact with my subscribers and any visitors that might come into the channel. To get notifications of the live stream, hit that notifications bell and you'll get a notification when it's going to be in half hour before, if YouTube's doing its job properly. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Give us a thumbs up, and your comments are welcome below. And if you like, you're welcome to share these videos onto social media, or any groups you might be members of that might be interested in. I actually put a few photos of this bike on a Honda Monkey Facebook site, which are actually the real motorcycle group owners in Thailand. And a few of them thought that some of these pictures I put on were the real bike. They didn't realize it was just a model. So, yeah. Okay, guys, thank you all very much. And I will see you all in the next build. Okay? All right, bye for now. Cheers all.